Be here just to show, you know, the family that they were caring, to show her last respects, and I can't believe she's dead. I know she was 96, but I cannot believe the Queen's dead.
She meant the world. She was just like everybody's grandmother. She was a lovely woman.
Right now on Good Morning Quad Cities at 11, a somber day in Scotland. Thousands line the streets to pay their respects to Queen Elizabeth II 1 week before her funeral.
From WQAD, this is GMQC at 11.
And welcome into Good Morning Quad Cities at 11 on this Monday, September 12th. I'm David Bohlman. Thank you so much for joining us. We will continue our coverage of the Queen's procession and memorial service in Scotland in just a moment. But we do want to get started with your local weather first. A chilly start to the day with rain and clouds, but Andrew says the sunshine is on the way. So let's get a check outside with meteorologist Andrew Stetsky.
Hey, good morning, David. Yes, some of you, especially well west of the Mississippi River, already have seen a hint or two of sunshine late this morning. The rest of us looks just like this. A lot of cloud cover and some occasional showers pushing through at times. The good news is the coverage on the showers continues to dwindle, and I expect that trend to continue as we get into the afternoon here shortly. Outside, though, yeah, it is cloudy, dreary, cool, and even a bit breezy at times. Let's go to live Doppler radar, where we're tracking some of the steadier showers moving through the Sauk Valley. Those will be heading into Bureau County here shortly. Princeton, you're not done with the rain quite yet. A little more to go, and it's actually raining right now as you travel through there on Interstate 80. Further to the south and west, some light shower activity in Muscatine. The rest of the region, just plain old cloudy. We've had this stubborn area of low pressure that's been sitting and spinning and nowhere to go, and it's going to stick with us at least through a good chunk of the afternoon, which means more scattered showers will be possible on and off. In terms of temperatures, well, we've worked our way into the low 60s, and we're not going to get much warmer than that. I think about 66 for a high will do it today. Perhaps a stray peak or two of sun as we get into the early evening, otherwise just completely cloudy. But as the skies clear tonight, we're in for one of the coolest nights we've seen in a matter of weeks. But summer is not quite done yet. I've got a fresh round of 80s on the way. I'll show you when that will move back in. We'll track it coming up.
All right, Andrew, thank you so much. It is now 11:03, and for the first time in almost 4 decades, Muscatine Power and Water getting a new transmission line. The primary goal for the $15.5 million project is to bring consistent energy supply to the city of Muscatine. News 8's Nina Burns shows us how this line will support green energy.
Reliability and flexibility. That's the goal as Muscatine Power and Water implements a new transmission line.
We're super excited to see this project finally come to fruition.
Right now, Muscatine has 2 power transmission lines that run next to each other and head south.
If we lose that line to the south, like with a tornado, it's likely we could lose both of those lines at the same time. So this one not only allows us to bring more power in, but we have a separate path.
The new transmission line, line 106, follows a separate path in a different direction.
You know, right now you've heard a lot about rolling blackouts, and we've got a large generation fleet. So we've been exporting power all summer to help out the grid.
A preventative effort to avoid those blackouts and bring power to and from Muscatine.
So when everybody's got all the things running, air conditioning, temperatures are high, we're able to run those units and export even more power out without overloading any lines.
The line helping bring a renewable energy project into the area.
This line is actually part of a bigger Powering the Future strategy for MPW. Another big piece of that is a large solar garden project that we're working on in the south part of Muscatine.
The 24 megawatt solar project will go over 250 acres of land.
Using our existing well field property, so we're not taking good high quality farming land.
Bringing consistent energy to Muscatine. Nina Burns, WQAD News 8.
And the solar garden project is expected to be completed by 2025. And there is good news for drivers this morning. A new report says 1 in 10 U.S. gas stations now selling fuel for less than $3. That is great news. That's the lowest price in months. You may remember it was back in June when gas was averaging about $5, and it's the longest streak of declining gas prices since 2015. Let's get a look at our local gas prices. On the Illinois side of the Quad Cities, the average price for a gallon of gas right now, $3.90. That's down 10 cents from last week. Across the river in Iowa, gas is a bit cheaper there. Those prices $3.29. That's down 1 cent from last week. Now going into the school zone this morning, Bettendorf School District voters will decide this week whether to reapprove the district's equipment tax, and the current agreement expires June 2024. So if it's approved, the district would receive more than $22 million over the course of 10 years. It would help fund facility projects across the district and add security and infrastructure improvements to the district buildings. District voters can cast their ballots today at the Scott County Auditor's Office until 4:30 or at your polling place tomorrow. And today, the new East Moline Public Library will be hosting its grand opening. It's celebrating the new space, which is double the size of the old library building. The new library is a $7 million project, which leaders expect will increase the annual attendance by 25%. The opening ceremony begins at 4 o'clock this afternoon. And students in Seattle missing their 4th day of school today as teachers' strike continues. The school district in Seattle announcing the cancellation of Monday classes, and negotiations with the union are ongoing. Teachers are currently asking for better pay and classroom support. The strike began last Wednesday, which was supposed to be the first day of school for approximately 49,000 students.
It's pretty hard because I feel like it's taking away learning from our school year.
It's very stressful, yes. I hope they can progress along and get this resolved. Because a few days of disruption is one thing, but then weeks and weeks is not doable.
The Seattle Education Association says that 95% of its voting members approved this strike. Thousands of nurses in Minnesota have walked off the job for a 3-day strike there. It started this morning at 7 a.m. and will go until 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday. And all about 15,000 nurses taking part in that strike. The nurses union says it wants fair contracts to improve patient care and working conditions. Negotiations between 7 major health care providers and the nurses union have been ongoing for 5 months. And according to the union, this strike is believed to be the largest private sector nurses strike in U.S. history. It is now 11:07. Now to the ceremony surrounding the death of Queen Elizabeth II as the nation mourns the longest-serving monarch in UK history. The Queen's casket being moved to St. Giles Cathedral in a mile-long procession that included King Charles III and his siblings. But before heading to Scotland, the King and Queen received condolences from Parliament, paying tribute to the Queen. Inez de la Cotera has more from London.
This morning, the Queen's body being transferred from the Palace of Holyrood House in Scotland in a somber procession. The Queen's children, Princes Edward, Andrew, and Princess Anne, led by King Charles, following the coffin on foot. Other members of the royal family in cars. The Queen's coffin then carried inside the St. Giles Cathedral, where it is now lying in rest for 24 hours, allowing the people of Scotland to say their final goodbyes. This as King Charles III is officially welcomed to Scotland with a ritual known as the Ceremony of Keys. Earlier, the King and Queen consort appearing before both houses of Parliament in London, lawmakers coming together to pay tribute to the Queen.
I cannot help but feel the weight of history which surrounds us.
Today, Prince Harry also releasing the first statement since the death of his grandmother, celebrating her life, remembering fond memories, including when the Queen met his wife Meghan and the time she hugged her beloved great-grandchildren. Meanwhile, outside of Buckingham Palace, a sea of flowers, cards, balloons, and other tributes.
I think she's always been there, and she's just overall a nice person.
So many that the royal parks have now asked mourners not to leave any more Paddington Bear toys or marmalade sandwiches, a wink to that now infamous skit from the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations.
Thank you for everything.
That's very kind.
And the Queen's coffin will be transferred to London tomorrow, where it will lie in state for 4 days starting on Wednesday. Members of the public have been warned to expect long lines and security checks. Inez de la Cotera, ABC News, London.
The Queen's funeral is set for next Monday at Westminster Abbey. President Joe Biden says he plans to attend. And you can get the latest information on the Queen's passing and King Charles III's ascension to the throne straight to your phone anytime. All you need to do is text the one word Queen to the number that's on your screen right now. That number is 309-304-0888. It is now 11:10 on your Monday morning. Still to come, while you may not need to get a new phone after all, tips on what you can do today to keep your current phone running well and keep your hard-earned money in your pocket.
And plenty of clouds, even some showers still around at times late this morning, though we're going to see improving conditions as the week goes on, including a fresh round of some 80-degree weather. When summer will make a grand return, we are tracking it next.
You're watching GMQC at 11 on WQAD.